I'm Jen, and today we're talking about sitting on your diamond mine. Okay, what does that even mean? You're sitting on your diamond mine. I want to tell you a story, and this is a true story. It's about a guy who lived in Africa. He was a farmer, and he had heard about all these stories about these people becoming super rich by finding diamonds all over Africa. And he decided that he was going to go seek his fortune in diamonds. He sold his farmland and he went out and searched the country for diamond mines and different places that might have diamonds. And he searched for years and he never found it. And eventually he gave up, threw himself into the river, and died. Well, meanwhile, the farmer who actually bought his property was crossing a creek one day and saw a shiny stone in the river, in the creek. And he went down, got it, thought it was so interesting that he brought it home and set it on his mantle. Well, a few weeks later, a man was visiting and saw the rock and said, "Where did you find that?" He's like, "It was just in the creek. I mean, there are lots of them there, but this is the biggest one I've ever seen." And he says, "That is one of the biggest diamonds ever." And as it turns out, this, I told you this is a true story. As it turns out, this is where Kimberly Diamonds began. It ended up being a huge source of diamonds. And the first man was sitting on his dreams in the beginning. The problem is that he was looking for things outside of where he was, and he didn't know how to recognize diamonds that are in their rough form. They've got to be polished and shined up and cut. And without doing that, they just are rough, look like rough rocks. And when we're doing this, let's use like this is a little metaphor, but when we're doing this, we're looking for things outside of us to create, to give us the life of our dreams. When you really think about how you want your dream life to feel, it's going to be like how you want it to look and how to feel. You're going to imagine feeling peaceful, or maybe you're going to imagine feeling totally free or independent, or less stress and more calm and more love and more connection. And these are things that we're very used to looking outside of ourselves for, because we start thinking that if we want love, we've got to go out and find our true love. And if we want abundance, we've got to go out and find it and get enough and store it so that we'll have plenty. And if we want to have less stress, we've got to get rid of the things on our to-do list, right? And we keep looking outside of ourselves rather than looking at what we already have in the face, in the form of opportunity to gain those things. There's another story about a man who owned a meat packing plant, and he became crippled because he got polio. And during the time when he was recovering and in bed, he used that time to think. And he came up with the idea of sliced deli meat, and it became one of the hugest. It was the first time we had packaged sliced deli meat. And it was a huge moneymaker for him, and it was such a big opportunity. But when we're thinking that there is no light at the end of the tunnel, that the situation that we're in is hopeless, we're going to quit looking for the end of a tunnel, right? We act differently when we believe that the answers are out there somewhere rather than inside of us. I've shared my story a little bit, but I want to go in a little more detail. And I've shared that I have an autoimmune disease, and that it's been one of the biggest blessings in my life. I don't like to use it as a reason to say that I can't do this and I can't do that. That is not how I feel about it. I feel like it's one of my greatest teachers. The reason is because when I was thinking about what I really wanted my life to be, I wanted love. I wanted to feel loved. I want to love people. I want to feel connected. I wanted to feel valuable and important and successful. And those are things that I had spent my entire life going outside of myself trying to make me feel those ways. And I've shared some stories about that. But really what it came down to was my identity was very based on things that were outside of me. And in order to maintain that, I had to keep doing more, keep accomplishing, and there was always a fear of losing it. Well, when I had my autoimmune disease, like big storm where it pretty much took out a lot of the things that I did all the time to create value for myself. Like I couldn't attend kids' games. I couldn't do my exercising. I couldn't do my working out. I couldn't do my job very well. Like there were a lot of things that were taken away from me, and it could have been seen as the greatest loss, like a huge loss and a great void. And it did feel like that way for a little while. But what I found was I was sitting on a diamond mine. When those things were gone from my life, I started to really see clearly how I had been basing such important stuff on things outside of me. And when I couldn't work out, I had to recognize how my value was not what I could achieve. And I had to recognize how I was already important, already loved. And it became the biggest blessing in my life. I became stronger because of the things that were happening to me. And I was so grateful that I wanted to share this message with as many people as I could. Because sometimes things happen and we start to think that there's no other way to possibly feel about it. Of course I'm depressed. I just got divorced. Of course I feel this way. I've got disabled children. Of course I'm overwhelmed. Of course I'm stressed. And as if there's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no way to feel another way. We all go through these times, and they're important too. But it's when we quit looking for the light at the end of the tunnel that we're thinking that something outside of us is what creates our happiness and creates our love and creates forgiveness. We need someone to apologize so that we can forgive. Those are the kinds of things that indicate we're still looking outside to create the feeling that we want inside. And so I'm hoping that as you look at your life and the things that are really, really hard, you'll see that you're sitting on a diamond mine. If that guy had been really, really good at looking and at finding and researching what does a diamond look like in its rough form? What does my property look like? Have I actually really explored where I'm at? If you can explore your own mind, if you can explore your own opportunities. For instance, we're often used to getting rid of irritating and annoying people out of our lives so that we can feel not annoyed and not irritated. But that is the perfect opportunity to build our skills to love and accept people regardless. That is the diamond. And in the end, we can leave loving and accepting anyone around us, and also having the ability to see how to protect ourselves. What do we want to expose ourselves to? But it doesn't have to create a condition where we can't love someone. So I'm offering that the way to live the amazing life, the free life, the loving life, the forgiving life, the amazing life is to use the opportunities that life has given you. You've been given everything you have to create the life of your dreams. And I'm hoping that you'll use every opportunity you have, not to prove that you're broken because, or things are horrible because, or you're depressed because, but use them to say, I am stronger because this has happened to me. I'm a greater person and I have great opportunities in the form of my challenges. Okay, I hope you take a look at your challenges and see them as diamonds in the rough. And your amazing life is waiting for you. Go create it. Don't wait for something outside of you to make it happen. You have the tools you need. Okay, if you need help trying to figure out how to take your diamonds in the rough and create the life that you really want, call a coach. I'm a coach. Call me. Let's see what we can do to figure out how to create the life that you really, really want. Don't wait for it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.